All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the special presentation to order. We have two presentations tonight. First presentation is the Officer of the Month. Chief, Captain.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City personnel, and guests. Welcome to our presentation of Officer of the Month. This month we're going to be giving the award to Officer Philip Beaver. Come forward. Yeah. Officer Beaver is receiving Officer of the Month for June of 2017. It's been a while. We've had some things happen like the hurricane and the races and the holidays and training and stuff like that. So we're finally getting around to presenting it to him. But again, it's for June of 2017. During the midnight hours of June 5th, 2017, Officer Beaver and Officer Newton was working a plainclothes crime suppression detail. They were in an unmarked vehicle patrolling our city. When they observed an individual on a dirt bike, an off-road dirt bike riding on a public roadway. They began to follow him. He noticed that the subject looked like he noticed that they were following him. He pulled off to the side, and then they began to activate their emergency equipment when he began to flee from them. It was a very short, I don't even know if you can call it a chase, but the individual went into a parking lot that was completely enclosed by a fence. So Officer Beaver, being an experienced officer that he is, he utilized his vehicle and just parked at the entrance and blocked any avenue escape from the motorcycle leaving. The individual saw this. He jumped off the motorcycle and began to flee from the officers. Officer Beaver had a short foot chase where he was taken into custody. But before taking him into custody, he seen the individual reach into his waistband, pull out a 9mm Smith & Wesson semi-automatic handgun. Fortunately for all parties involved, he threw the weapon over the fence. Officer Beaver took him into custody without further incident. He was read Miranda and given his rights, and the individual advised that he was basically out on a gang initiation and he was out to shoot somebody or a police officer. But it was Officer Beaver's quick tactical thinking, keeping safety in mind, that he was able to take this person into custody without incident. And for that, he is given Officer of the Month for June of 2017. In addition, Officer Beaver was highly productive during that month. He handled 300 calls for service, 160 business and neighborhood checks, writing 24 citations, 16 reports, 7 arrests, and 16 FI cards. Some of those arrests included felony gun violations, felony fugitive warrants, felony narcotics, and felony habitual traffic offenders, and other misdemeanor traffic offenses. Great job, Officer Beaver. And with that, on behalf of the Chief and the command staff of the Homestead Police Department, we're presenting you with this plaque for Officer of the Month, June 2017.
Thank you.
We also have a certificate as well, Mayor and Council. Certificate of Recognition, Officer Philip Beaver, Homestead Police Department, with gratitude. We thank you for your distinguished service above and beyond the call of duty. City of Homestead salutes you. Congratulations, sir.
Short, unrehearsed, real short. I know y'all have a lot of business to get to. First, thank you, Mayor, Council, for having me and doing this tonight. Thank you, Chief Roll, Captain Dijon, Captain Washington, Sergeant Villarreal for the nomination. It was an honor to be just nominated and to be presented tonight. Is truly appreciate it. In addition, I know a lot of the officers couldn't make it, but friends and officers I work with every day go above and beyond for the city and the citizens, and it's what truly makes Homestead Police Department what it is. Again, thank you. Much appreciated.
No, I wanted to say a few words. A little while ago, maybe about 2 years ago, Officer Beaver, he injured himself severely, and he was out for a long time. And he gave me a call one day, and he asked me, he said, you know, Chief, am I going to have my job when I get back? I said, absolutely. I told him, don't worry. In Homestead Police Department, we take care of one another. You know, he has some concerns, and his concern was our concerns. And I told him, just get well, come back, and do the things that I told you when I hired him. He came back after being out for a long time. He did everything I asked him to do, and a little bit more. And not only that, but he also had a child, beautiful little girl. But you know, it just goes to show you, and I tell you guys all the time, you come here, you work hard, you do the things that we tell you to do, and you won't have any problems. And he came back off his injury, and I can tell you right now, everything he's done since he's been back here, he's heading for a bigger and better career in this department. Keep up good works. When people do a good job, we're going to recognize you. You've done everything we asked you to do in this department, and I can assure you that things going to get a lot better for you. So keep up what you're doing. Awesome job. We appreciate it. Thanks so much. Okay. With that, oh.
The next presentation is Vice Mayor Shelley, Art in the Spotlight. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. I have the honor and pleasure of introducing the artists in the spotlight for the month of March and April. And for the month of March and April, this will be the South Florida National Parks Camera Club will be displaying their artwork. And it'll be, the exhibit's entitled Through Our Eyes, a photographic showcase of South Florida's national parks, national preserves, and marine sanctuaries. And so I'd like to invite the president of the Camera Club, the South Florida National Parks Camera Club, to come up and talk about the exhibit. Let us know when you may be having an exhibit night, if you're going to invite people out to come and see the work. And also the Eco Fair, one of the reasons that they're displaying for this particular month is for the Eco Fair that's upcoming here on Saturday the 24th. So I encourage everyone to come out to enjoy the Eco Fair, but also see the artwork. So with that, I'll turn it over to Q to talk about the club and the exhibit.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. First, I'd like to say thanks to the council and the mayor for giving us the opportunity to do this exhibit, especially to Vice Mayor Shelley, who's sponsor of this program. Also, thanks to Ms. Michelle Wells. Michelle did a great job of helping us pull all of this stuff together. Also to Mickey McGuire and his staff at the Seminole Theater. The exhibit is at the Seminole Theater, so come on out and see that. We'll talk about that just a little bit later. Also would like to tell you just a little bit about our club. The South Florida National Parks Camera Club is starting in its 4th year. We've got 42 active members right now. Monday meetings, our monthly meetings are on the first Thursday of every month. We meet at the Villages Clubhouse at 7 p.m. We also have at least one field trip a month where people can go out and do photographic type things as a group. Our meetings and field trips are principally about education. We're lucky to have some pro and semi-pro photographers and visual artists that really share their expertise with members of the club. Other goals of the club are to give back to the community and to support our national parks and marine sanctuary. To this end, we've provided photographic support to the Homestead Rodeo, to Main Street, and some other organizations in the community. And we've done volunteer projects and exhibits in both of the national parks. We've done exhibits at both of the visitor centers, both at Biscayne and at Everglades National Park, and have done a number of volunteer projects. For example, the rebuild of the Rock Reef Boardwalk. And we're currently working with one of the biologists in the parks on documenting the biodiversity throughout Everglades National Park. The exhibit that we are doing in the Seminole is the second exhibit that we've done as part of this program. At that point, it was called Art in the Chamber, and we actually exhibited at the community center about 3 years ago. The title of the exhibit is Through Our Eyes, a photographic showcase of South Florida's national parks, national preserves, and the National Marine Sanctuary. 12 photographers are exhibiting work, and I'd like to just read those names. Barbara Laveri, Bob Richardson, Carmen Alex, Deflin Hernandez, Jason Eldridge, Kim Eldridge, Louise Lindsay, Patricia Giraldo, Robert Chaplin, Susan Martinez, and Susan Sorrentino, and I've got a few of my prints there as well. Most of the works are for sale at really outstanding prices. So please come out to the artist reception and take a look. The artist reception is going to be held this Monday at the Seminole. I believe that's starting at 5:30? Do we know? Michelle? Do we know what time the artist reception starts? 6 o'clock on Monday. Also, anytime there's a performance at the Seminole, you can certainly go through and see the art. And during the Eco Fair, the Seminole will be open. We're also going to have a tent at the Eco Fair. So if you'd like more information about the club, please stop by the tent and talk to us. You can also check us out at sfnpcc.org. Again, thanks to the mayor and council for giving us this opportunity to exhibit.
Thank you very much. I just want to say a quick word. I think it was, 3 or 4 years ago you were saying, I helped start this club. The idea was to provide a venue to allow local photographers not to have to go all the way north. They had the Kindle Camera Club, but nothing down south and nothing embracing our national parks. And so, I helped put this together, and I just want to say I'm very proud of the club and how it's grown and how it's developed and exceeded my expectations as far as not only providing a venue for photographers to learn the craft and learn the trade, but giving back to the community, the many service projects you guys have done to all the parks as far as building a boardwalk that otherwise would not have been funded and probably still wouldn't be repaired. And so I just want to publicly thank you and acknowledge the great works that your club is doing. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, we had a couple of presentations of Ms. Faircloth had to cancel. You want something else? No? So at this point, that time, we're going to conclude the special presentation ceremony. We'll come back for the council meeting around at 6 o'clock, okay? Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to call the Wednesday, February 21st, 2018 council meeting to order. It's approximately 6:01 p.m. This evening, we'll have the invocation by Pastor Reginald Joseph from the Haitian Evangelical Baptist Church of Homestead, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with Councilwoman Bailey and the Police Explorers. Would you please rise?
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for the privilege that I have to pray again today. I just want to remind you that you are in position as this today. We're living in a time that a lot of things that's going around. My heart goes to the Parkland, and we know that we have a lot of movement going around for the schools here in Homestead. I want you guys to know that maybe God ordained you to be in this position for a time as this. Open your eyes and be wise enough to lead the city in the right path. So I'll invite you to pray with me. I don't pray only here when you guys invite me to be here. I pray for you in my devotions. I pray for you in my church. I pray that God will lead the city in the right path. So join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you, we bless you. In your word, it says that in the counsel of many, we find wisdom. So pray that as we here gathering for the benefit of this great city of Homestead, that you will give us the wisdom from above. Help us that in a decision that will be taking place in this meeting will be and only be for the benefits of this city. The integration of everyone, every population, every race, every ethnicity. We pray that you get rid of any barrier that is preventing those who can speak, to act in such a way that we have freedom and liberty around the city. Joy and peace will reign over all. We pray for protection over our police department, that everything that will be done in this aspect, they'll be safe and the population will be safe. We pray that every items on the agenda tonight will get rid of every selfishness, every selfish agenda, but for the benefits of the city, everything will be prevailed for success, for growth. We pray that your presence will be here in every time that we meet. If we ask you all this, God, tonight, it's not because we think that we have any merit, but we ask all this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. To him will be all the glory, the honor, forever and ever. Thank you.
Hope, rank, face, present, arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Arms. Left face. Forward march. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Pastor, for the invocation. And Ms. Bailey, thank you for the Pledge of Allegiance. And the Explorers, appreciate you always. Next item, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Ross.
Here.
Councilman Maldonado.
Here.
Councilman Burgess. Councilwoman Faircloth.
Here.
Councilwoman Bailey.
Here.
Vice Mayor Shelley.
Here.
Mayor Porter.
Here. Any additions, deletions, deferrals, Mr. Manager, Mr. Attorney? None? Next item is the consent agenda. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Any questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Public hearings, tab 14. Mr. Attorney?
Yes, please be advised the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications concerning any items on the agenda.
Mr. Vice Mayor?
I was contacted by a resident on tab 14 and 15.
Mr. Burgess?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I was contacted by numerous residents and also the applicant's attorney, Mr. Orza.
Hearing no other communications at this time, the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on any judicial item.
Would you please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, please state your name, hereby swear or affirm that the information I shall present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Thank you. You may be seated.
So, Mayor, tab 14, 15, as well as tab 17 and 18 all pertain to the same project. So I could introduce all of these, take 7 and 18 with 14 and 15, have a collective public hearing discussion, and then take a separate vote on each of those.
Okay.
So I'll start with 17 and 18, and then 14 and 15. Tab 17 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City of Homestead Comprehensive Plan by amending the text of the Technology Mixed Use, TMU, Future Land Use category contained in the Future Land Use element, providing for transmittal of the ordinance to the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity and all other units of local governments or governmental agencies as required under Chapter 163, Part 2, Florida statutes, providing for adoption pursuant to Section 163-3184, Florida statutes, providing for inclusion in the comprehensive plan, providing for repeal of conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. 18 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the comprehensive plan future land use map designation of an approximately 0.4 acre parcel from professional mixed use to technology mixed use for property generally located at the northwest intersection corner of theoretical Southwest 142nd Avenue in the South Florida Water Management District C103 Canal, as legally described in Exhibit A, authorizing transmittal, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Tab 14 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving an amendment to a previously approved BAYWINDS Plan Unit Development Master Development Plan to permit a 140-foot stealth communications tower on an approximately 0.4 acre parcel located within the BAYWINDS PUD, generally located at the northwest intersection corner of theoretical Southwest 142nd Avenue in the South Florida Water Management District C103 Canal, as legally described in Exhibit A, providing for conflicts, severability, and providing for an effective date. And finally, tab 15 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting site plan approval for telecommunications tower, amending the BAYWINDS Plan Unit Development Residential Pod I on an approximately 0.4 acre parcel located within the BAYWINDS PUD, generally located at the northwest intersection of theoretical 142nd Avenue, South Florida Water Management District C103 Canal, is legally described in Exhibit A, providing for conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date.
Do you want to stay with tab 17 to start off with 17 or go back to 14?
Yeah, 17, 18 is the comp plan, it's the first layer,
Okay.
and then we get down to 14 and 15.
Okay. Any, you've already read the resolution. Is there a report from staff on 17?
I'll make the report brief. What we have, as we explained, we have 4 different type of applications that are coming for stealth cell phone tower on a tiny little irregularly shaped parcel of land that isn't much use for anything else. Because of the nature of where it is, we have to amend our plan unit development master plan to allow it, because it wasn't allowed before. We have to amend the site plan for that area because this wasn't included in the site plan. And then we got to get into changing our comprehensive plan. We've got to change the map color to allow it, and then the text of the comprehensive plan. So we've evaluated all of this stuff in our comprehensive plan, our map, our text amendments, our site plans, and the PUD, and it conforms to all our standards, and so we're recommending approval, and believe this is the second reading of all this, so we've done this before.
Okay. Any questions from council on tab 17? Mr. Arza?
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Hugo Arza, offices at 701 Brickell Avenue, here on all 4 items this evening with respect to the LCS Communications LLC request, which simply put boils down to, and I put it up, erecting that cell phone tower site with a monopole site that will have a flag at the top in order to improve coverage in the surrounding community. If you wish, I can just make my, do you want me to make a brief presentation? You want me to only speak to the TMU section and leave it for site plan? So when I know there were also some questions at first reading I want to address. So you tell me, Mayor, what your choice is.
Why don't you just stand by, let us open up the public portion, let's see if there's any questions from the public, and then you can respond accordingly. And
Sure.
just, this is a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing at this time on tab 17, which is setting up the TMU. Well, yeah. If you have any questions on tab 17, you're welcome to come at this time. Mr. McDuffie?
Hi, Stephen McDuffie, 139 Southeast 36th Avenue, Homestead, Florida, BAYWINDS CDD Supervisor. I represent the CDD for the entire BAYWINDS, and so as a homeowner and as a supervisor, I have gotten plenty of feedback from residents after walking door to door to these communities that we are worried about the aesthetic of the tower and how it would affect our community. I wake up in the morning, I can overlook the fields over at the Eldridge Farms and see Farm Share and other places. And seeing a tower would basically, like, it would kill the aesthetic of the community type of thing. I want to know, have other, if through the council, if other sites have been looked at, like the Homestead Water Tower beside the Motor Speedway, which is much larger and could cover a much larger area, or the South Florida Water Management District Tower, which is on the west side of the Turnpike, and that, as we all know, the cell phone coverage in that spot is much worse than anything on the east side of the Turnpike. So those are my questions, and I will wait for comments on the other tabs. Thank you.
Mr. Arza?
Thank you, Mayor. I mean, the first thing to remind is that, you know, obviously this is an application by a private applicant on private land. I mean, this is not an RFP or an RFQ that the city's put out where the city could say, here's a number of sites or pick them. I mean, I don't know the sites that the gentleman who spoke is referring to. One seems to be owned by the Water Management District. One is apparently owned by, I don't know if it's near the track. I don't know if it's owned by the city or by others. But, I mean, you know, obviously an applicant who owns private land is bringing a request for something on their land. Here, we don't get to go pick another piece of land and say, let us put this up there unless we can reach an agreement with those folks. We own this land and wish to do this here. So, you know, as far as the location, you know, that's part of the reason. Secondly, as far as the location and the coverage, I've put forth the map. These are prepared radio frequency engineering reviews, and I'm holding up current cell phone coverage. And below average, poor coverage in red, average, reliable coverage in yellow, green, reliable coverage, green reflects reliable coverage. This is required by your staff before we can present this kind of application. This is what it currently looks like. So the location here, when you basically run the tests again and assume a tower there, this is what it looks like. All of a sudden, you see an incredible increase to good compared to, you know, and I left them here side by side, you know, for that reason. So, you know, as far as the coverage is concerned, I mean, again, you don't, there's not an ability to just go put up a tower anywhere you want to. I mean, you've got to either own the land or reach an agreement. This is land that this applicant owns. And so as far as the coverage is concerned, the data before you is more than substantial and competent to show that you're going to address an issue of poor cell phone coverage in this area. As far as the aesthetics are concerned, I mean, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? I've seen some very ugly cell phone towers, right? I mean, we've all seen them. We obviously have taken great pains here to make this a monopole with a flag, try and make it look as much as possible like a flagpole. I think we can all agree a flagpole is less offensive to the eye and celebrates, you know, our nation. You know, there is no guarantee that the fields that are in the distance that the gentleman referred to are going to remain like that. In fact, to the north of us is land that's zoned, I believe, townhome. I think we can all anticipate that that land will be developed at some point down the road. So, I mean, there's no certainly expectation that is set in stone that your, you know, views of open farmland will remain as such forever. That said, of course, we have taken great pains to propose something that we think is aesthetically pleasing in a location that provides for the coverage that the community needs, as evidenced not because I'm telling you, but by the hard data and your staff has reviewed. So that's really, you know, more than anything our pitch to you this evening, our plea to you this evening is this is a location that will help you solve a cell phone coverage issue that you have, particularly in this part of town. And, you know, we would urge you, you know, this first item is simply the text amendment to the TMU to allow it to implement the underlying zoning category. But with respect to the site plan and everything else, you know, we would urge your support. And I'm happy to answer any other questions. Like I said, I know that there were a couple of questions previously last time around. If you want me to address those, I mean, there were questions regarding the structure and what happens if there's an issue, a hurricane and the like, and we've submitted into the record, and your packages have engineering reports that talk about what happens, and basically the design is such that it's meant to collapse on itself and not tip over. It's meant to collapse. We've got clearance so that it will not affect any of the home sites or any of the homeowners. We just lived through a pretty strong hurricane this last season. Cell phone towers did not come toppling down. They're designed. In this case, I think it's 185 miles an hour. It's in the record. I mean, we can all anticipate there could be a greater, more catastrophic event sometime in our future, but we obviously can only design to those limits that we can today. And this is designed as rigorously as possible to withstand hurricanes in South Florida, to collapse and break at a midpoint so that it doesn't topple over and harm anyone, even in the event of a catastrophic failure, in the event of a Category 5 hurricane. And again, you know, the location has been selected carefully to try and get the greatest coverage possible. So again, on this item and the others, and I'm happy to answer other questions, we would urge your support at second reading. Again, we've had this, of course, conversation initially in December, and we're before you tonight.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Burgess.
Thank you. Mr. Orza, you bring up the point of the American flag at the top of the pole. So I've seen several other towers that resemble the renderings that you have tonight that sometimes have tattered flags up there for a long, long time. So they have something in place to make sure that doesn't happen, and you know, no disrespect on the flag and all that.
Absolutely not. It would not be our intent. And I'm joined, and I was remiss to introduce Robert Holland and David McNamara from LCS Communications, who are here. I think Mr. Holland, the last time, assured you, I mean, there is obviously maintenance that goes on with this. We will be, of course, and happy to have it as part of one of the conditions of approval, that we will ensure that the flag is treated with the respect that it deserves.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Fairclough, you have any questions? I know I can't hear you. Yes. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, I do. Sorry. If I'm a little loud, I can barely hear.
Thank you.
I had a question first for Mr. McDuffie, and then I
Okay.
Mr. McDuffie? Go right ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. McDuffie, you have mentioned that you got a lot of feedback from residents in the community, and you referenced the CDD. Was there a conversation at one of the CDD meetings regarding this tower?
We just had the last meeting. We had I had brought it up at the last CDD meeting this past Friday because we had thought that this agenda item would move past or be deferred for another later date. But then we saw it this last week for the agenda that it was going to be put on this council's agenda for this week. So we had discussed it, and amongst us, we had talked about the access road, the general access road between the property beside Farm Share, which is that little road that goes to the back of the property where LCS would be putting their tower, about different types of, about how we maintain that one between the CDD and everything. So we're just generally talking about the access as well. It had come up at the last meeting. Go ahead. Any other question?
Yes. Did the CDD take an official position on this?
No, they have not. We did not. Sorry to cut you off. We did not do further discussion. We wanted to put it off to another meeting, but we didn't know the urgency of the application for the tower at this time.
So tonight, which hat do you wear, as a resident or as a supervisor of CDD?
Say again, ma'am?
Which hat are you wearing tonight? Are you speaking on behalf of the city or as yourself as a resident?
I'm speaking as a resident and also switch hats as well as a CDD supervisor because it did come up. I was asked by several residents to bring it up for the CDD.
Okay. Mr. Arthur, can you address the access road that Mr. McDuffie just referenced?
Yes, absolutely. So the access road is 142nd Avenue, is that right? Is that
42nd, yeah.
So the access road is 142nd Avenue. It is currently unimproved, although it is dedicated. The applicant and LCS Communications has, after the plans were submitted to the city, agreed to improve that at this time with basically a compacted, not a full built road, because the reality is, I mean, obviously we're not building anything that's going to generate any traffic from the public. It's simply going to be our maintenance truck going to check on site and do the like. But a City of Homestead Public Works approved and zoning approved, basically access road that we would improve all the way up to Campbell to provide access for us in the interim. Obviously, at that point in time when the property to the north of us comes in, which again, as I recall, I think is a townhome zone property, well then we can all anticipate that the road will then be fully built out, paved, and the like. But yes, we have considered it, Councilwoman Fairclough, and the plans show and indicate an improvement to that road to provide the access. And certainly we'd be happy to have conversations with the CDD moving forward after tonight as to the mechanics of working with them for an operation. I would respectfully say, we don't need to kick the can down the road. I mean, if the issue is about how do we work out, the maintenance of the access road and not the underlying request or anything of that nature, we would respectfully urge that, we move forward this evening. But you have my commitment that we'll be happy to meet with the CDD board and discuss moving forward, how to be good neighbors, which we intend to do, of course, anyway.
Okay, my next question is, at the first reading, I believe members and I shared some concerns as it relates to the aesthetics, the flag, potentially pattern, as well as the area being properly maintained. In the text, we indicated that area would be meticulously, that's the adjective that's used, meticulously maintained to ensure that it's aesthetically pleasing. What assurances that we do have that will actually occur?
Well, I mean, we certainly would be amenable to an approval this evening being conditioned on, your city has a terrific code enforcement mechanism. If the grounds are not being kept up or not being mowed or not being done in any way, you know, you would have the sort of that police power, for lack of a better word, to enforce it. I mean, this is a fairly small site, it's a little less than 15,000 square feet. So we don't anticipate that it's going to require a great deal of upkeep, but you know, you can have it be a condition that we will maintain it. We are showing, the site plan shows already kind of what we're doing. It's obviously fenced. You know, we're going to keep it clean of debris because we need to, of course, for the purposes of the operations going on here. I mean, this is a you know, technological purpose here, so you know, you can't have trash and debris anyway. I mean, those are things we're going to need to do anyway, but I would be certainly amenable to a condition that states all of that, and the city would have, as they would with any zoning condition, the ability to enforce that through an inspection from time to time, as you might do to check landscaping or anything else that an approved community may have. And if we are failing, then you have your, of course, your code enforcement mechanisms. I don't know if, Councilwoman, if that would be sufficient. It's a small site, so I don't, you know, there isn't a lot we anticipate having to do, but we're happy to do whatever brings the city pleasure.
Right, it is small. However, you indicated that you're going to put significant landscape, 17 trees, 150
Right.
shrubs. All that has to be maintained, and
Of
I
course.
would feel comfortable with a schedule of maintenance for that area, as opposed to it being just open, oh, check and see if it's being maintained. I think a schedule should be put in place.
We're happy to do so. I mean, I think in some respects we're saying the same thing, because even if we do a schedule, I would anticipate the city will come and check and make sure we're keeping the schedule. So maybe I just wasn't clear. I mean, we're happy to do a schedule by which we agree
Right,
to.
as a city, but
Yeah.
me, I would like to see a schedule.
Okay, terrific. Do you have something you would propose, Councilwoman, in terms of frequency? I mean, you know, the trees and the shrubs and what's there is based on what the landscaping code requires. Like any piece of property, you must landscape it. So we've provided the landscaping. We're not seeking a variance. We're providing the landscaping required. Do you have a wish, Councilwoman? Is it something you'd like to see twice a year?
No, I have a wish, not but perhaps whoever's maintaining can create a schedule that will be conducive to properly maintaining the area.
Okay. So would you like us to propose something as part of our permitting process? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'd be happy to work with the applicants, representatives who are here, and you know, we've got to go through a building permit process. This is, of course, your zoning process. We'll go through a building permit process, and we'll include a schedule of maintenance for you as a city, and you know, make sure that gets approved as part of the permitting process.
I have another question for Ms. Dudley. May I proceed?
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Council.
go ahead, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Outside of the aesthetic and the access road, what were some of the other comments or concerns that were mentioned from the constituents that you spoke to? Because no one has contacted me.
I understand. Some of them had talked about kids who regularly walk up and down through like the bush shrubs in the back of our Isles of Oasis and the Vineyards property. Like whether or not that might be fenced off, that was one of the issues, but we've had that question answered by the LCS. But I'm not against what they're doing with the private property. I'm not against that at all. The CDD is not against that at all. We just wanted to make sure that some of these questions are answered, and they're doing a pretty good job about answering it. And as for the access road and the maintenance of the shrubs and everything else, and whatever conversation that the CDD might have between them and yourself and the company, we're more than willing to have that conversation and not wanting to like throw a wrench in anything that could help with self-service in the area as well.
Okay, so at this point, has Hugo answered the concerns, the questions or concerns?
98% of the concerns have been answered, so I can honestly say that going forward, like to have a conversation with the owners of the land or the LLC, that the CDD would be very much in accordance with everything that the city would do in regards to what you've been talking about.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McDuffie. Thank you, Nicole. I have no further questions at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Anything else, Hugo?
Nothing from me, questions.
Any other public comments? You're welcome to come and speak at this time on tab 17.
One of my major concerns as a resident of the city of
Just
Homestead.
get your name and address for the record.
Kim Hill. Kim Hill. One of my major concerns would be, as far as the aesthetics, would be the big American flag flying across. I myself have nothing against an American flag, but what would happen later on when someone else comes and wants to fly another flag? You know, this is not Hootersville. This is not Alabama. This is not Mississippi or anywhere where usually now these big, large American flags are sending off dog whistles. So I'm not comfortable with a large American flag flying around. I'm very comfortable with the ideals of Americanism. I'm very extremely comfortable with being an American. But however, we know now and through history, we know that these flags have sent off dog whistles. So why should we allow this to come up? What are you going to do when someone wants to fly the Confederate flag? And you've already allowed him to fly this big, large American flag. Yes, we live in a country of freedom, freedom of expression and everything, but I want you to also weigh these things. As far as aesthetically, it's not a beautiful thing to just see large flags, because when I ride across the South and when I see those flags waving, they're waving for a reason and not the reason that America was built upon. Any questions?
Anyone else? I'll close the public hearing at this time. Any final questions or comments from council? Ms. Fairclough, are you okay?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Is there a motion? Is there a second? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey? Yes. Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 18. Saying this is, it's
Yes, sir. This is the amendment for the comprehensive plan. And so we evaluated the amendment for the comprehensive plan and made our presentation at the last meeting. We're recommending approval.
questions from council on tab 18. This is a public hearing. You're welcome to come speak for or against public hearing 18, tab 18. Close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Moving to second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Councilwoman Bailey? Vice Mayor Shelley? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 14.
Sir, this is the amendment of the PUD master plan, the first step in the process, of which we've evaluated and are recommending approval as well.
Questions from council, tab 14. I'll open up the public hearing at this time. You're welcome to come, for or against. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Vice Mayor Shelley? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 15.
Mayor, so this is the site plan approval, and based on the conversation with Councilwoman Fairclough, we could add a condition here with respect to that the applicant shall provide an annual maintenance schedule with regards to ongoing and continual maintenance for the upkeep of site improvements and landscaping prior to the building permit.
You go, Mr. Arza?
And we would be in agreement with that.
Okay. Ms. Fairclough, did you hear that?
Yes, yes,
You're fine with that?
yes, I'm fine with that.
Okay. This is a public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Any final comments? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess? Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilwoman Bailey? Vice Mayor Shelley?
No.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you all. Thank you. Good evening.
So
Move-
legislative matters, we're on
Yes.
16, correct?
Correct. Moving on to Legislative Matters, tab 16. Tab 16 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the city code by amending Chapter 30 zoning, Article 5, nonconforming uses, by modifying the nonconforming use regulations to further clarify and amend the general purpose, applicability, and definitions related to nonconforming lots, uses, and structures, and further establishing Section 30-552, governmental right-of-way taking, providing for inclusion in the code, severability, conflicts, and providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
Cordino?
Yes, sir. We're recommending that the mayor and council approve this ordinance amending our zoning code, Chapter 30, Article 5, non-conforming lots, structures, and uses. This is every now and then we go back and review the code to make sure that we're hitting the things that we need to hit. This is tied to potentially some of the issues that we see on Campbell Drive when the eminent domain takes place, and what it really does is make sure that if a property is affected by eminent domain and it creates a non-conforming use, it's not negatively affected by that non-conforming use. It is able to move forward without having to go through any extraordinary application processes to correct the problem.
Any questions from council? Tab 16. Mr. Roth?
Thank you, Mayor. Joe, I don't think you were here at the last meeting when we talked about this, and again, I'll bring it up. The protections that are put in this for the property owners in that area, and I know we're very specific now about the area that we're talking about, which is Campbell Drive, probably from Chrome to US 1, but it doesn't really say that in here. That it's does it say it in here? I looked through it, I didn't see it in there.
It says so on page, let me see here, on Section 1, Purpose and Applicability, Section B, I, Campbell Drive and US 1 Improvement Project. This project includes improvements to Campbell Drive, Southwest 312th Street, Northeast 8th Street from Northwest 1st Avenue to Northeast 12th Avenue, as well as improvements to US 1 from Northeast 6th Avenue to Northeast 11th Street. So it specifies that.
And I think my other question was last week was, when an owner transfers title of the property that they're in now, what triggers will occur for them to modify or do anything with that property once a new owner has taken possession of it? So at this time, when we do this, everything along that corridor is conforming based on this ordinance. But once it transfers title, what happens? Do the new property owner have to bring it into conformity?
No, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to stay a legal nonconformity, which means that it's allowed to be. Even under sale, unless it's demolished and rebuilt, then it's got to be rebuilt as a conforming use.
Okay, you say you believe that, but I need to know for certainty.
That's correct.
That is
that when a property owner begins or tries to sell their property, that when the new owner comes to apply for a business license, that the current condition of that property won't have to be altered, causing expense to the new property owner.
That is correct.
Okay, as long as that's the way we understand it.
Yes.
I'm very comfortable with that. Thank you, Mayor.
Now, what would cause this to not go into effect? I mean, if they left the property abandoned for 90 days, there's some of the criteria.
This section of the your regular non-conforming use provisions have a 90-day period. If the use of the structure is abandoned for a period of longer than 90 days, then they lose the non-conforming status, and they then have to revert to the current code. Properties in this specific area have a year, so it's a longer time frame that would apply to these properties.
More forgiving.
More forgiving,
in this case.
correct.
Okay, perfect. Ms. Fairclough, do you have any questions?
No, I do not, Mayor.
Any other questions from council? This is a public hearing, tab 16. I'll open the public hearing at this time. You're welcome to come speak for or against tab 16. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Any final comments or questions? Is there a motion? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Ross?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bailey?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 19.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is an ordinance for second reading. It's an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budgets for the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2017 and ending September 30th, 2018 by increasing the total budgeted revenues and expenditures by $2,224,008, providing for repealer, severability, and an effective date.
Report from staff.
Mayor, this is an amendment to the budgets of both the MTC Fund and the PTP Fund. As a result of the recent bond issue for the Multimodal Transit Center, PTP funds that had originally been transferred to the MTC Fund can now be returned to the PTP Fund. This is a housekeeping item. Staff recommends Mayor and Council approve and amend fiscal year 2018 budget for People's Transportation Plan Fund and Multimodal Transit Center Fund as per the attached schedule.
Questions from council, tab 19, housekeeping. This is a public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing at this time. You're welcome to come speak for or against.
Hello, Honorable Mayor. Dr. James here at McDonough. I live at 32320 Southwest 199th Avenue. I just had a question. I know a lot of my subscribers would be interested in this. Right before the election, we had budget meetings and set the budget. Then the first meeting after the election, we voted to increase last year's budget by $10 million. I know $5 million of that allegedly was for storm repair, but then we voted to increase this year's budget by $53 million. I know there was something else, I think with a parking lot or something, that was another 12 or 14 million, and possibly another 33 million with the Cyberry. And now they're adding another 2 million. I just wondered, why we wouldn't have known about all these millions upon millions of dollars before the budget meetings were concluded. I guess it goes back to the old saying, a few million here, a few million there, and before long, we're talking about some real money. Anyway, I look forward to your response. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from the public?
See if this works or not. Edward Powell, 745 Southeast 18th Lane. I look at all the numbers. I talked here about all the various categories as far as the budgets and stuff with Mr. Gretzis about 3 months ago, and there was a number thrown out about $31 million, which we think was probably the budget for the downtown project. Now, in the last couple of months, I've seen numbers like 32 million. I've seen numbers like 33, 34 million. So my question is have the bids, I haven't seen where the bids have been let, and has that now come in to 2 or 3 million above the $31 million budget that you proposed? Is that where the $2 million is going for the additional? Have you let the bids yet, or have you opened the bids for downtown? And are they over $31 million budget? Have you bid them? Have you bid them yet? Have you bid it? Is it public knowledge?
Go ahead and give us all your questions, and then I'll get the manager to respond.
So again, it's.
I guess ask all your questions, and then we'll get the manager to respond, okay?
I'm just wondering, I saw 31 million and I've seen papers where it's almost 34 million. I don't know where it comes from. And you really don't help me find where those numbers are. So if you could help us with it, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Carlos?
Yeah, as far as the contract with the development agreement, which has been to council numerous times, even through versions of second amendments and third amendments, the contract cost was always going to be $33.3 million. There was always a question in there, an issue about the credit for demolitions, which was about $302,000. So therefore, the figure that I think everybody's talking about is exactly $32,997,618. That's what the development contract. That'll be our maximum contribution for this project. With reference to the earlier speaker, this is a housekeeping item. Could it have been done earlier? Yes, it could have, because it was as a result of the bond issue. We received additional monies than we had anticipated, so therefore monies that we had earmarked from the PTP fund towards this project, we realized that by getting the additional bond monies, we no longer needed those. So basically what we're doing is we're giving back the PTP funds their money that they can be used on transportation projects and basically making the fund whole. So the number has not changed from what the original development agreement has been.
Carlos, could you also speak to the original question, which was there was a bunch of budget amendments that were made at the beginning, and I think there was a misimpression that there was more monies being asked for. So could you just go through those budget amendment items? So
yes, and I think as I spoke at the budget hearing is traditionally for capital projects, basically what we approve in September is usually the operating budget. Capital projects, we wait until the last minute to see what funds are going to be available, what has been expended. So therefore, we bring those to you in November, traditionally, with a rollover of those contracts. It just happens to be that these are large, significant projects, but we have always done this traditionally. You can look back, and it's always in November.
Okay, and Mayor, the other point to enhance what Carlos mentioned about the Cyberway project is right now, because Mr. Powell asked the question about where we are in the bidding process, we have right now our negotiations with the #1 ranked proposers for the building itself and then also for the interior fit out and operation, both of which we're negotiating prices. And then once we have a final conclusion to those negotiations, then we'll have a solid number, because what we're looking for is a guaranteed maximum price so that whatever the contractor agrees to is what they have to live with. So the number is still, we have a maximum, but what we want to do is try to see where we ultimately will get. And then also our negotiations with the operator of the Cyber include them, even though right now the tentative number is $33 million, that would include an outside investment from the operator itself. So their job now is to secure funding for that as well. So all of that is kind of moving along, and then at some point we'll have everything in alignment. So you'll see the final number, you'll see how much outside investment was brought in from the operator, if any, because you never know until they're concluded, and we'll have at some point a final number on how much the building will be and how much the interior fit out will be, what the business agreement will be for the operation of the facility, and all of that will be very clear once we've finalized negotiations.
Thank you, sir. Anything else? Close the public hearing. Sorry. Yes, sir.
Name is Jaime Ramos, 812 East Maury Drive, apartment 615, Homestead, Florida, 33030. I just wanted to ask regarding the ordinance that we're going to be, increasing our budget. What benefits will small business owners around the city of Homestead receive from this actual increase in the budget? Since we all got to work together, small business owners, local community, we're all going to have to benefit some way, somehow from this increase. So, I'd like to hear exactly where the benefits will be from small business owners. That way it can encourage us, to keep starting our own small businesses in the community. Thank you.
Carlos, again, this is transferring money from one pot back into another pot. So it's not an increase, it's repaying.
Well, the only increase is to the multimodal fund because of the additional bond monies and giving back the portion to PGP. But it's not increasing the operating budget. I don't know if he's referring to like the general fund. This does not affect the general fund. It's just two capital projects.
Mr. Manager, the intent of the investment downtown is to create and spur growth for all the businesses in the downtown community, correct?
Yes. Again, I think there may be a clarification needed in terms of what this item is. This is not an item to spend more money. We were able to bring in transportation funds, and we're able to leverage those dollars with a revenue bond so that we can build a parking garage in the downtown. And that parking garage will have a tremendous economic development benefit, not only for the downtown, but we believe for the entire city. This item tonight is not spending more money. It's taking some leftover funds from that one fund and moving them back to the transportation fund so that if there are additional needs for transportation expenditures, because those funds are specifically limited to transportation type projects, then those funds will be there. But this is not like, oh, please, may we have more money because we want to spend money on something else. It's not, that's not what we're talking about here. And in terms of the project, I forget, your name was? Yeah, if you need more information on the parking garage project, I think you'll find it very interesting and beneficial to your business, and we think a lot of people will benefit from it.
Anyone else? I'll close the public hearing. Tab 19, any final questions, comments from council? Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey? Yes. Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley? Yes. Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 20.
Mr. Mayor, tab 20 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, accepting a right-of-way deed conveying title for right-of-way purposes from AGAP Homestead LLC for property located at 1235 Northeast 12th Avenue as additional right-of-way property needed for future right-of-way improvements and providing for an effective date.
Report from staff, Mr. Manager. James?
We're recommending Mayor and Council approve this resolution accepting the right-of-way deed from the AGAP Homestead LLC for additional right-of-way at the corner of Northeast 12th Street, Northeast 12th Avenue, Northeast 13th Street. The applicant had come in about a year ago or so for a site plan approval. They were approved. They went back through the county's platting process. The county requested that they provide a little bit of right-of-way to increase a turning radius at the corner of the intersections that I mentioned. So we went back and evaluated the county request to our code and the county's codes and found that they all comply, and we're recommending the approval of this additional right-of-way.
Any questions from council, tab 20? This is a public hearing. Open up the public hearing at this time. Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
My name is Ty Maxey, for the record, 5471 West Waters, Tampa, Florida. I represent the property owner applicant for this project, so I'm just here available for questions.
All right, sir. Any questions? This is a public hearing. You're welcome to come forward at this time. Tab 20. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Is there a motion on tab 20? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Fairclough?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Councilwoman Bailey? Yes. Vice Mayor Shelley? Yes. Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 21.
Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving a second amendment to the public facility ground lease, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Staff report, Mr. Manager. Gail, who's got, oh, Gemma, excuse me. Gemma.
This is the second amendment to the public facility ground lease. On December 20th, 2017, the mayor and council approved a first amendment to the ground lease, giving the developer the right to build an additional 430 parking spaces at their expense. The second amendment is to clarify the city and developer's intent to share in net revenue. Section 7.22 of the ground lease is amended to read as follows. 30% of the garage net income. Garage net income shall mean the difference between A, the gross revenues received by developer from the operation of the garage, and B, all expenses incurred by developer in owning, operating, managing, maintaining, and repairing the garage. Income taxes and non-cash expenses, including depreciation and amortization, shall not be deducted from developer's gross revenues for the purpose of determining garage net income. Staff recommends that mayor and council approve the second amendment to the Homestead Station Public Facility Ground Lease in substantially the form attached as Exhibit 1.
Any questions on tab 21, council? This is a public hearing. Anyone like to comment from the public? You're welcome to come at this time. Tab 21. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Final comments? Is there a motion? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bailey?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilwoman Faircloth?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess? Councilman Roth? Vice Mayor Shelley? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Tab 22.
Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the State of Florida Department of Health, Baptist Health South Florida Foundation, and Homestead Hospital for the distribution of a state-funded $200,000 grant for sickle cell health services and awareness programming, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date.
Questions from council? Tab 22. This is a public hearing. I'll open up the public hearing at this time. Anyone like to comment for or against tab 22? You're welcome to come forward.
I would like to thank the council for bringing this up, for being able to vote on this. This is a disease that strongly affects not just African Americans, but people who live below the Mediterranean in one sense. So, you know, I find it's great that you all are doing this, but at the same time, when you look at it, it becomes hypocritical when I find a council that sits up and votes for someone like Corbello, give a strong endorsement to this guy who was an anti-Obamacare act. He's an opponent to that. And these families would have received a lot of care through that act. So you're kind of moving in a schizophrenic way in one sense. But at the same time, I want to still thank you all because this is a much needed situation. This is a much needed funding to have this in our area. There is no need for these people who are afflicted by this disease to have to travel all the way up north. So, hey, we can have some philosophical disagreements, but we can all agree on the moral things as what is right for and what's best for our citizens. Thank you very much.
Any other comments? Yes, sir.
I'd like to,
let me just get your name in it.
Brown, 20501 Southwest 296th Street. I'd like to back what Kim just said and thank you, the council, Homestead City Council, for this because I have two grandkids who live under my roof out off 296 that suffers with this disease. And I would like to, again, just thank you for even considering this because it's like you said, it affects two little kids under my roof. And again, I thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Any final comments? Is there a motion? Moving and second. Mr. Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say thank you to Baptist for stepping up and taking this project on. I know it was kind of thrown in their lap as a last-minute project, and it's a big project. It's important as we hear from our constituents tonight, so I wanted to thank them for stepping up and taking this program forward. I also see Luanda sitting over there. Luanda, you were mentioned by Councilwoman Bailey at the last meeting and all that you do for this. Are you comfortable in going forward with what Baptist is going to do and that you're going to be included in that? Because I know that was one of Councilwoman Bailey's questions as we spoke at the original meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
Hi, my name is Luanda Bragg. Yes, I actually had an opportunity to sit in with the planning meeting with Homestead Hospital team. So I am in 100% agreement with our partnership and everything that we're going to do with this proposal and this program.
All right, because I know that you live this every single day of your life too with one of your children. So, and I know that you put your heart and soul into it here every year for us. So I just wanted to make sure that you were comfortable also. So thank you. And thank you to Baptist for including her. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Burgess. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilwoman Faircloth?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Councilwoman Bailey? Vice Mayor Shelley? Yes. Mayor Porter?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Next, we'll go into our public comment section. I have a card from Omar Diaz. Mr. Diaz. Mr. McDuffie. Stephen McDuffie. Mr. McDonough.
Hello, Dr. James Eric McDonough. I live at 32320 Southwest 199th Avenue. With recent events, I'd like to remind everybody on the dais that the Miami-Dade Home Rule Charter Citizens Bill of Rights, Section A starts off, the government has been created to protect the governed, not the governing. The second enumerated right therein is truth in government, which holds, no county or municipal employee or official shall knowingly furnish false information on any public matter, nor knowingly omit significant facts when requesting given information to public members. 1, it is known that City Manager George Gretzis provides the public information officer with false information to be given to the media. We're all wondering if the recent whopper given to the Miami Herald, where the city denies Kim Hill's allegations and claims it looks forward to do its day in court, also came from Mr. Gretzis. 2, objective evidence proves that Chief Alexander Roll has not only illegally falsified destruction logs and illegally concealed or destroyed public records, but also that he lied under oath to law enforcement officers who were investigating him. 3, at the last meeting I attended, we witnessed City Clerk Elizabeth Sewell falsely claim that I had submitted Jason Jensen's speaking card, preventing him from speaking. Further, Ms. Sewell apparently changed the policy on her own to require persons speaking to submit their own card personally and not have it handed by someone else. To my knowledge, this was done without a vote or input from council, nor can such written provision be found in the city policy. 4, then we come to City Attorney Sam Zeskind, who recently established that he's a liar as well. In an effort to harass me, Zeskind claims he needs access to my list of supporters and subscribers, as well as the usernames and passwords for all my online accounts, including emails. This is absolutely preposterous. To support his assertion, he falsely claimed that I stated I wanted to write a book on how to harass government entities with public records requests. The actual post in question shows that there was never any such claim made. The original post on my page was "We won" after I had beaten the city in a public records lawsuit where the court determined half of what I had claimed the city had unlawfully refused and asked me to come back to finish it up. I look forward to taking the deposition of these 4 untruthful public servants, and I will come back and report my findings. Additionally, however, it would be greatly appreciated if the city would stop retaliating against my rights of free speech in connection with public issues. I thank you for your time and wish you a good evening.
You got your camera.
I do that a lot. I get excited.
Mr. Sullivan.
Kevin Sullivan, 1860 Southeast 6th Court. My first comment tonight is those beautiful speakers. I don't know who came up with the idea, but it's fantastic sitting out here. Now, it was not my idea, but anyway, thank you for that. All we have to do is get the rest of the people to talk into the microphone. I know you're very shy, Mayor, but I mean, if you talk into it, we can hear you back there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. A serious issue. All of you got my email concerning the construction project on 328 Lucy Street. I know it's a Dade County construction project, but they took out all the sidewalks. You have 2 schools, and when I observed it that Friday, I'm sorry to tell you, my old tired heart almost jumped. I saw 2 youngsters, 8, 9 years old, walking, and they had to go into the roadway. They were coming back from the elementary school. No sidewalk, nothing. I believe it's incumbent on the City of Homestead officials, even though this is a Dade County project, to make sure that we are safe for the kids. Take a look at what FDOT did on Campbell Drive. They made a sidewalk temporary, put barricades up. I've never given FDOT too many compliments, but I absolutely had to give them a compliment on that. I watched it every day. Now, what I do now, nothing has happened. Almost 3 weeks. I try to avoid 328 at school time because I don't want to be a witness to one of these kids getting smashed. Okay. Next, special call meetings. You had a special call last week. Now, I don't know what your meaning of special call is, but my meaning of special call is something special. You had 6 items. How the hell can that be special? I spoke about it before. There was time constraints when there was some developer wanted a bond issue. That's shouldn't be a special call. If they can't get their paperwork in, then that's their problem. It shouldn't be your problem. Everything you do should be done here on the camera so the residents at home can see it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Kim Hill.
Kim Hill, resident of the Southwest, always will be a resident of the Southwest. Hey, Mr. Gressler, it's great to know that the only thing you have to be is a older white gentleman and make a request and you can get what you want. You can't be Kim Hill that come down here for 2 years and request just to get on the agenda for body cameras. But if you're an old white man, oh yeah, we'll go get the speakers and everything. I'm glad that you revealed all that. And then you're willing to comment. You won't talk back to me. None of you guys will. Put your head down. There you go, Maldonado. Put your head down. I remember you standing up there saying, I will not go home until we get cameras on these red lights because I just can't think of someone dying because I didn't speak up. But you could see someone dying and being shot down by the police and not having any transparency. You can see that. You don't care about us. I understand that. You told me, oh, man, you just came at me wrong. That's why I can't talk about it. See, you want something, but you came at me wrong. So what you want me to do, beg from you? Oh, no, that'll never happen. You're a politician. You represent the public. No one shouldn't have to walk up here and crawl for you. That'll never happen for me. I am a black man. So anyway, I can remember when I was young, I walked into the store and there was this doll. It was a Lester and Leroy doll. And I went to speaking to that doll because I saw on TV where Leroy used to talk all the time. And my uncle said, hey, that doll won't talk or whatever. The only reason he talks is because someone has his hands up his butt and it's a ventriloquist that talks for him. Reminds me of the Lester and Leroy show when it comes down to talking about body cameras, especially some of my African-American politicians and people who rode the coattails of African-Americans, Mr. Rowe, to be able to step into the positions that you have. You can't talk unless old Jeff or unless old Mr. Gressler has their hand up your butt and you're going to speak what they're saying. Ventriloquist. You know, you want to know who Kim Hill is? Kim Hill is not the narrative that Mr. Gretz and Mr. Porter tries to portray. Kim Hill is the guy who worked for Homestead Police Department in 1983 and 84. Kim Hill is the guy who fought for in the anti-apartheid movement with Nelson Mandela and guys like Randall Robinson in the 80s. Kim Hill is the first one that stepped up in the Jesse Jackson campaign. Kim Hill is the guy in 1980 when Haitians were coming across the sea and had to die, and Jesse Jackson was down there at the Caleb Center when I was in the 10th grade, and me and Mr. Wumble went down there. Kim Hill's the same guy, Mr. Rowe, when your son was in trouble, spoke on the radio and spoke with your wife to help him out.
Mr. Powell, Ed Powell. Mr. Powell.
Edward Powell, 745 Southeast 18th Lane. I put together a little speech here. Let's see how it goes. I'd like to talk some logic if I could. I figure with logic, maybe we can get a handle on some of this stuff. Mayor and council, you were all elected by us, our constituents. You are to bear our voices. You're here to represent us, the citizens. You are to be here to represent our best interests. You are here to look out for our interests, and you are here to allow us to express those interests to you that we placed our trust in. This decorum policy, which you instituted, 2 years ago. I saw that policy. I called Mr. Weiss, our city attorney. He's not here anymore. I guess he's out playing golf or something. But I called him and I said, what's the deal with this decorum policy? He said, if they don't like what I say at this podium, they're going to throw me out of the meeting. He says, Ed, I've known you for a long time. I wouldn't let that happen, ha ha. He said, it's only a formality. It's happened in other municipalities. Well, that's great. Which other ones? And we've never got an answer to which other municipalities have this decorum process. I don't want to see it. Okay. City attorney, are you here to protect them against us, or are you here to protect us against the city? Our right to stand up here and say what we feel and to be harassed, to be thrown out of a meeting, to be arrested, to be harassed as a public member, as far as I'm concerned, is violating my and your citizens' rights to have a free speech here in this office, in my emails to every one of you, Mr. White, Mr. Weiss, Mr. White, I have asked you, what are the rules to free speech in this meeting? I asked you twice. I have not gotten an answer, and I've also sent you all copies of that. You are welcome to answer those questions about what are our rights to stand up here and to listen and to talk to you and to complain and to tell you what's wrong with this city. It's a violation of rights, and that's why you've got the ACLU and Mr. Kim Hill suing the city because of what you allowed to happen here. You allowed the first rights to be violated, and Ms. Sewell changes the decorum and who can talk whenever she feels like it. That is a violation of everybody's rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Noel Brown.
Never approached anybody else. No, he was leaving. He was leaving, officer. You know what? He has you guys like this. You should be my hero. No more. I stood up in the defense of vile rumors from his family and lost friends. He was supposed to be the bridge between the Southwest community and everybody else. He failed. He's failed. He's failed. He's failed totally in the Southwest community. You failed, man. You have failed. You should be ashamed of yourself, sir. I'll get out. I'll get out. I'll get out.
Okay, that's all the cards I have for the public comment section. Business from the city manager? Mr. Manager?
None, Mayor.
Anything from the city attorney?
I need to request just a couple of executive sessions. One is Odage v. Homestead. It's in the 11th Circuit of Miami-Dade County, case number 15-026141, as well as an executive session for City of Homestead v. Homestead Miami Speedway, pending case in the Circuit Court, case number 16-231-AP, as well as Kim Hill v. Porter and Homestead, case number 118 CV 20412. Thank you.
Reports from the mayor and council. Ms. Fairclough.
None at this time. I will serve as still on the meeting here.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Bailey.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Maldonado? Nothing? Mr. Roth? Yes, sir.
I just want to kind of reiterate what Mr. Sullivan was talking about, and I did express some concerns about the construction along Canal Drive. And today I observed another incident where children are trying to cross the street from Tennessee to the north, having to jump over the barricades that are there to get to the sidewalk that used to line the canal that goes west to all the way to US 1. There's got to be a solution when we have our children walking up and down that street every single day from school that can be worked out with the county in some way. Who could we put in charge of that in order to protect the children that are walking those streets every single day?
Mayor Maria is here if you'd like it.
I got it on. I got it on. Leave it. Let me don't touch it.
Good evening. I will look into that.
It's more than looking into at this point. I mean, we are risking children's lives, and he's correct. They have taken away the sidewalks along North Canal there. So this needs some immediate attention, whether it be additional officers to help these children cross the street or whatever. We need some immediate attention to this, Mr. Manager, please. Thank you.
That's all, sir?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor. I would first like to introduce, we've got a friend of ours from Tallahassee that's here tonight that fights for us up there on a daily basis at the League of Cities, Florida League of Cities. I know she's down here to do some training. Holly McPhail's down, going to be doing some training in Miami-Dade tomorrow, and welcome her to our great city hall here, so thank you. I've also, I know that I spoke to you guys about 288 and 137 and the light there. I'm just wondering if we've gotten anywhere with that, and when might be some relief for the people that are driving that way during the daily rush hours, because it has become worse and worse for whatever reason. It's backed up almost all the way to 312 in the mornings, most mornings anymore. Between 7:30 and 8:30, it's become nearly impossible. To go 1.5 miles of road takes nearly 45 minutes. So, I mean, we've got to get some relief from the county or something. If it takes myself driving down to their department or whatever it is, but we can't continue to wait on them and say we're going to check with them. We've got to start it. We've talked about this in the past. We've got to be able to call them and have somebody that can take care of the problem, not say we're going to call them and check on it. And I know it's not your issue here today, but we've been fighting the same problem forever. Whenever we have to go to the county, it's a 4, 5, 6 month process. And unfortunately, our citizens can't wait 4, 5, 6 more months because more people are coming here every day. And it continues to get worse and worse, and I don't see any relief, and the county doesn't seem to care when they come down here and we ask them for relief. So we've got to do something and take a stronger stance down there. And so whatever, if it's us driving down, I know that when we went to get lights in the past, Mr. Bray and myself had to drive down there and put pressure on people. So if that's what it takes, let us know. I'm more than glad to take a day of driving down there and doing whatever it takes. With the power, thanks for getting the power back on last night as quickly as it was. I know it was a big blackout on the east side of town. But that's the second one we've had here in the last 3 weeks. Is there, at the same substation, is it a recurring problem, or is it different problems that are adding up? Because people ask me, I know that 3 weeks ago, today, during the morning, we had a big blackout for about an hour on the east side of town. And then again last night, not as bad, not as lengthy last night, but another blackout of a lot of people on the east side. So if you could just update the public as to what's happening out there at the substation and assure them that we've got it, that we're rectifying the problems.
Yes, sir, Councilman. It's a couple different problems. 3 weeks ago, it was a issue within the substation, a mechanical or electrical card that went out on a breaker. We've since went through all of them and installed new cards, either brand new or refurbished, to try to eliminate that issue of happening again. Yesterday, with the blackout in the morning, a car took out a complete switch cabinet, which...
In the evening, you mean?
In the morning.
In the morning, okay, because I wasn't aware there was a blackout in the morning
right.
yesterday. I was talking about last night at about 7 o'clock.
Right, so once that happened, we were able to replace that switch cabinet, but we were unsure that there was any other damage. And last night, we had another issue where one of our electromechanical relays had failed, and instead of it just tripping a feeder, it tripped the whole substation. Okay. We feel like that may have been a result of the issues from in the morning. We've since, we did identify that electromechanical relay that did fail, and we have that line out of service currently as we continue to troubleshoot and make sure that the wire is good in that area. So we are on top of it. We're investigating and trying to find a root cause. But with the increased residential in that area, they continue to hit poles and switch cabinets, and that's something we can't prevent, but right. we try our hardest to keep the power on.
Thank you. And I will report that I did call last night because I wanted to check on the customer service line, and it was about a 6-minute hold, but they did answer for me. Didn't have a lot of answers, but they did answer the phone. But they did tell me they'd text me back, and nobody ever texted me back. So that was one thing that they didn't have a follow-up as I was checking out on our system last night. So thank you.
Okay, I'll check on that as well.
Mayor, that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Vice Mayor?
Just 2 items. I know that when I had the power out in my neighborhood, what was it, 6-7 months ago? Well, it's gone up more than that, but that was when I'd raised the issue about not getting a text back or a call back. The same issue you had. I called, I spoke to somebody, and they never texted me back with any type of follow-up. So this seems to be an ongoing issue that probably wasn't fixed the last time, or has gone off the tracks again. So just something to make sure you guys look into that.
Yes, sir.
Last item, the only other item I have is just to announce the Eco Fair, which is again this Saturday. I know I talked about it earlier during the special presentations. So it's a great little event we've had. I think this is the third annual Eco Fair that kind of focuses on other vendors and those that are eco-friendly, focuses on our national parks, focuses on the National Parks Trolley. But that's this Saturday, the 24th. So come out there and enjoy the good times and take the trolley to the parks and enjoy the music, go to the Seminole Theater and see the artwork. I think we're also going to have some eco-friendly videos, films being shown inside the theater as well. So it'll be a good, fun event, so I encourage everyone to come out. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. I have 2 items. One is just an announcement of a vacancy on the Tourism Advisory Committee. And the second item that we need to talk about is the appointments to the Housing Authority Board. I have 4 appointments. They're basically members that are already on the board. Is there a motion or question? Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. I wanted to, the last time we had a meeting, I told you about a phone call I got from the folks in Canada talking really how well they were treated by the utility and the city in general with regards to the hurricane recovery. And I have a letter from them. It's addressed to me, but it's really about what the city did. And I want to make sure that you and your staff, the entire department, gets to see this letter. So I have the clerk give this to you. And they sent some pictures of them interacting with the community So they were really impressed with our entire operation, your entire operation. So kudos to you and the team there. That's really all I have, except for also we have the Seafood Festival this weekend as well. We have 2 days. I think it's 11 to 4? 6. 11 to 6, anyway. So that should be a really nice event. Hopefully it'll be a signature event for us for a while now. But other than that, is there a motion to adjourn? You want to stay? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Good night, everyone.